What's up, guys? How you doing? Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me. If you feel me, give me a like, follow, subscribe, whatever platform you're on. I'm streaming from X and YouTube. If you're on YouTube, follow me on X. Come on. If you're on X, follow me on YouTube. More is always better. My name is Dub Digital. I cut them up on the internet twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time ish. How you guys feeling? Good? I'm feeling all right, man. My hair's getting crazy. Need another haircut. My hair goes up. It defies gravity. Anything's possible. What's up, guys? 9 people. I'd like to start off, say what's up. Just let me know who's here. Unless if you don't, it's like I'm talking to myself. I vibe off the energies, man. I vibe off the feels. You know? 11 people. What's goody? What's goody? Crypto is popping back. I like it. It's better than going down. You know? We'll look at the charts. If you're new to the channel, it's pretty collaborative. It's pretty interactive. You leave me feedback or little comments. I check it out from time to time. I talk on it. We'll go and do a heat check, going down coin market cap, updating ourselves with the market together. Then we'll go down and look at aggregate market charts like Total 3, which is altcoin dominance. Altcoin market cap excluding Bitcoin, Ethereum. We'll look at Bitcoin, of course, Bitcoin dominance. We'll take a peek at ETH dominance. Try to understand what's going on in the aggregate. This is a macro investing channel, specifically very niche macro investing channel, more like a crypto channel with a micro investing like flavor to it. But how you guys been? 28 people. Wow. Cheers. Pull up a drink, baby. We're gonna get into it. Yo, Dub, what's good? Nothing much, but what's good with HBAR? Hedera and BlackRock. Wow. We'll read that too. That's pretty much like the most important news right now, at least today, that I can see. Listening, multitasking, Blind Dave. It's like you're like a superhuman, man. Multitasking, you're always like building stuff. When I'm talking, it's all good. It's all good. I do that too. I turn on like long form and I listen in the background. It makes time fly by so much better. And I'm glad I could do that for you, Blind Dave. Welcome, welcome. Great day for HBAR holders. Fire, ain't that right? I'm glad I kept my HBAR bag, y'all. Interesting. We talked about the structure not frequently, but we have been in the past on the stream about the structure of HBAR, saying that cursive D structure. There's probably a pretty technical term, but I'm self-taught, so bear with me. This cursive D drop down and go up. You'll see that happen over and over on Bitcoin's chart. And HBAR has had one over the last 2 years. I didn't know what would be a catalyst, but if BlackRock's starting to show favor to Hedera, that's interesting. Back in Texas, going fishing tomorrow. Hey, that's dope. What do you fish, man? Freshwater? I'm in Southern Cali, so most of the best fishing is in saltwater. But saltwater fishing is special, It's just an excuse to go out there and drink brew, but it's all good. Hey, fishing people after my own heart. Just like to kick it. I like that. I wish you the best, man. Okay, let's get into it. Let me do my quick shills, and then I'll be over, I promise. But if I can't shill my stuff, what's it all been for, right? All right, let me share my screen real quick. If you guys do me a solid, I never ask for your money, But can you give me a follow? Can you do that? Dub Digital on X. It's at DUU Digital. DUUB Digital. It's Doob Digital. I figured that out like a year in. Whatever. It's all good. And then if you go over here, if many of you already know, I'm the head of PR over Player Chain, which is a multi-chain blockchain gaming infrastructure. Testnet's coming out in a couple weeks. And mainnet launch is happening in about a month. There's going to be, there's been rumors of a potential airdrop. Can't confirm. And then also, there's going to be details coming out about a fractionalized nodes, which is a good, potentially good passive reward stream. If you're interested in that, good people, community-driven project, come and join us. We'd love to see you over there. But 47 people, wow. Listening, mate. Love to get a market update. Eat my steak. Steak, what's good, man? How you been? We're going to look at it, but before I do that, guys, there's some interesting news. for Hedera Hashgraph. If you don't know much about Hedera Hashgraph, it's a alternative, I guess you would say, what is it? Decentralized ledger technology, which is like called Hashgraph. There's been a few decentralized ledger technologies besides blockchain. Blockchain is not the only one. I think the first alternative was the Tangle from IOTA, you know. Then I mean, there's a few of them now. I think Aptos has one. I forget. I haven't dug too much in Aptos, but I think they're an alternative. And then Hedera is also one. Big Council. I mean, we could pull it up in a little bit just to shill. I got to shill for the communities that have showed me love throughout the years. This has been a 4-year long journey, at least on this channel. It's been over a 10-year long journey for me in crypto, but I got love for people who show me love and support. So we're going to show a little bit of shine on Hedera today, and then we'll get into the market updates. But I think this is good for anyone to know, even if you're not in Hedera, because BlackRock tokenizing assets on Hedera is interesting. So let's read it, get into it real quick. This is from Yahoo Finance. I might mess this up. ARCAX, whatever. The first FCA-regulated digital asset exchange, broker, and custodian today announced that it is expanding the range of funds shares it offers in tokenized form with the provisions of BlackRock's ICS U.S. Treasury Money Market Fund, or MMF. This builds on its launch of tokenized assets to Arbon's MMFs last year, which ARCAX has created on both the Hedera and Ethereum blockchains. Dang, can they make any harder to say names? Hedera, help them out. Tell them fix that. This additional BlackRock MMF, along with existing offerings, are available directly on the ARCAX platform as well as through connected networks. The first transaction of tokenized shares on the BlackRock's MMF, which was also tokenized on Hedera, the open source proof-of-stake public ledger, has completed across the Onera Fin P2P digital asset network. In the current high interest rate environment, putting cash, treasury, and stablecoin assets to work is more important than ever. MMFs are useful vehicles as they have the potential to provide institutional stability and yield due to their underlying investments in short-term debt products and reduce single bank or stablecoin provider counterparty risk. In addition, through creating a secondary market for the tokenized instruments, ARCAX can provide investors with the benefits of most instantaneous transfers of MMF shares throughout the day, an advantage which can also see the tokens being used for the collateral movement instead of just traditional subscriptions redemptions. Yada, yada, yada. Graham Radford, CEO and co-founder of ARCAX, comments, money market funds from different asset managers can follow different underlying investment theses. For example, investing in short-term governmental debt issuances or commercial short-term debt assurances. Consequently, it is important to have a range of offerings available to cater to different clients' needs. Adding more funds into our portfolio of tokenized shares of MMF offerings expands the flavors we have on offers and also allows us to serve a broader range of potential clients, as well as MMF's product breadth. Product distribution is vitally important, continues Rodford. And so we are pleased to expand our partnership with Onera to further leverage their Fin P2P network for distribution of tokenized shares in MMFs and to help facilitate our first multi-million trade on Hedera too. It's getting long. Okay. I think that's about it. It's getting long in the tooth. But it's interesting to see. It's a step in the right direction. I think someone on Twitter said that, they're tokenizing their real world asset fund on Hedera. I don't think that's technically the case, but BlackRock issuing any kind of product and tokenizing things, their assets on side of Hedera is a step in the right direction, right? It's a money market product. Money markets right now are very in high demand because people are trying to get any kind of yield they can because no longer is there free money. Things are getting more and more expensive. And there is definitely demand to use cash to generate yields when the whole financial landscape looks less and less certain, at least from a lot of people's perspectives. Now, you can make the comment that, why would you want to have a money market product? Because the trend is inflation. It is inflation, but we're in inflation, for the most part, the narrative is still like, we don't have it under control, but it's better than before. There is a incline in the money supply. Now, if you want to get in semantics, it's not really an incline in the money supply. It's just that the inflation rate is going up marginally less. But this is good. BlackRock is, what do you call it? Affiliating itself with Hedera. This is interesting. And, like I've said, Hedera has like really positioned itself to be a enterprise blockchain, or I use blockchain sparingly, but enterprise decentralized ledger technology or digital ledger technology, right? The whole thing between public blockchains and private blockchains, more or less, is the transparency in between them. You're going to have a lot of these companies and a lot of these corporations choosing to do things in an opaque manner because they don't want you to see all up in their stuff, right? But still be able to connect to public blockchains. So it's interesting to see BlackRock do it. We've seen Google join the council. We've seen a bunch of people join their council. I'll try to pull it up throughout the sometime later in the stream, but just want to show the Hedera homies some shine. It's very interesting. I think on the day, Hedera is up what? Let's check it out. Almost 40% on the news. Wow. Volumes following. That's not bad, y'all. Okay. You made that first breakup above, came back down. That was kind of a aggregate market kind of thing because Bitcoin falling off from its highs. But this news is pretty dang bullish. And I think, once it gets beyond this point right here, it's not going to be too hard to get up to here at about 16, 20 cents. Good day for Hedera. I'm happy for you guys. How you feeling? Feeling good? Everything will be tokenized on Hedera. BlackRock tokenizing funds on it is only the beginning. I don't know if everything will be tokenized on it, but I think this is a big win. You know what I mean? I think it's a big win. Mermaids. You're fishing for mermaids? That's tight. Have you caught any before? You're always looking for mermaids, man. BlackRock has 13 trillion assets under management. Yeah, one of the biggest money market funds in history. Asset managers in history. It's a $25 billion fund that they're tokenizing on Hedera. Not just proof of concept, it's real. Yeah. That is pretty good. So if you guys want to check out more Hedera, looking for just hoping to have it like on the side of CoinMarketCap somewhere. But check out their council if you don't know about them. I guess I could pull it up. I used to do videos for Hedera a couple of years ago. I even got sent some merch. It was tight. Hedera's always been cool to me. I'm happy when good things happen to cool people. The community is pretty one of the strongest in the space. The bear market did not phase them at all. My computer is not pulling things up. Why? 71 people. How you feeling? Good? Trying to stall here. I'll come back to it. My computer wants to work. Okay, y'all? Okay. We'll move on. My bad. All right. But let's look at it, the market, a little broader here, shall we? We'll look at the heat check. How's it doing? Crypto today. It's always good to come out here and look at how things just get a flavor, a taste. Bitcoin 66.6 thousand. Not bad. Up 5%, 6% in 7 days, 0.5% in 24 hours. We were at 60,000 not too long ago. So, hey, it's interesting to see that this has been pretty tame halving, to be honest. We gave a good amount back before the halving. I was expecting some more to come. There might still be more to come, but for the most part, this has been pretty uneventful. So if you guys are new to crypto, there's typically lags in these things, right? Just like in economies, there's lags. Something happens with the money supply, you won't see inflation right the next day. Just like if you have the halving, if the economics of Bitcoin get affected, from a halving event or something like that, you're not going to see it just the next day, right? These things they take time to soak into people's minds, right? And eventually that circulating supply dries up and then the supply demand dynamic hits like it always will. Now I hear some YouTubers talking about, not typically like crypto YouTubers, but now we got some of the finance, like traditional finance people talking about Bitcoin because it's so big they can't ignore it anymore. And they're talking about, I hope, Bitcoin can go up, but that's kind of like a hopeful, wishful thinking kind of thing. It's like, no, it's really not. And this makes you think, like, it makes you think these people don't understand supply demand curves. It's like the most basic economic principle. Supply demand. Look around the world. Has Bitcoin's demand gone up or down since 2010, 2009? It's gone up dramatically. So that means, and supply goes down. What does that mean? Price has to go up. You have to entice the people who hold the Bitcoin to drop the Bitcoin. That's the only way to satisfy the demand. Supply demand curve, economics 101. So with that said, 81 people, what's good? Let's continue down. If you haven't done a heat check before, you could do a heat check every time you go on the internet. It's my favorite thing to do. All you got to do is go to 7-day. 7-day and 24 hours is probably the best range to do this with, but 7 days is my favorite. And you just click it. CoinMarketCap, CoinGecko, whatever you want to do, whatever tracks this info is fine with me. Bonk's up 55%. Interesting. Look, these double-digit gains are coming back. This is what we saw during the time Bitcoin is at 73,000. Look, goes to show you guys. This is all just a very emotional market. Your job is to capitalize on these emotions. Emotions drive volatility. Volatility is your enemy and your friend. But in this part of the cycle, I think it's going to be your friend before it becomes your enemy. Bonk up 55%. Hedera up 54%. Akash 43%. Pepe 43%. Arwe 40%. Floki 40%. Stacks 24%. Interesting. And a good way to compare how the market's doing is looking at the highest gainer versus the highest loser. Nervous Net, we're down 13%. Then we started going into the single digits. So obviously in aggregate, the market is doing better than it's doing worse. 7% down is a nothing burger in crypto, right? 13% down is whatever. So it's interesting to see, guys, on the 24-hour, Hedera up the most, almost 40% in one day. Akash has been killing it too, but let's look at Pepe. Let's look at the meme coins, because I call the meme coins the canary in the coal mine for what's going to happen. It's a good gauge on retail interest. Let's check it out. And I also have 84 people watching, so that's a good indication of interest coming back. Last week we had like 10. Okay, so obviously this thing's bouncing hard off the bottom. I would say the drop's done. But see, this is the bad thing about meme coins. There's a beautiful thing about meme coins because they go up fast, make you a lot of money real quick. The bad thing is that they're very volatile and hard to predict because you can't really use traditional resistance and support lines with these things when it goes in the blue sky breakout, right? So this thing looked like it would drop more. It might be done. There's not a really good way of managing that. The only way you can really manage meme coins is you buy low, scale out when it's going high. Keep a bag for later, but you're continually selling into the pump. That's the best way to manage meme coins and protect yourself in meme coins because you don't want to get caught getting crushed in a meme coin, Let's look at Doge. I think Doge is a better canary in the coal mine. Doge is becoming the blue chip meme coin crypto. It's looking like we'll see. We'll see what happens with Doge. I mean, we'll have to want this potentially right shoulder to play out. If it comes back up to approximately right here, you could be looking at head and shoulders, but it's not my base case for Doge, especially because things are moving up so high. Doge is taking a while to take off this cycle. But I've talked about a fractal that I've seen. Bear with me. Saying this right here is just a very large version of what occurred right here in 2021, pretty much, right? It's my theory that the pump in 2021 was the first phase of a two-phase pump occurring. that we're about to see the bigger pump coming through. But I will explain that moving forward on the Bitcoin chart as to why I think that. I think we're seeing a fractal on the Bitcoin chart as well. I think 2020 to now has been just a big move up with a long, prolonged kind of like lull in between. I'll show you why. That's all I can do, but I'll show you why. And what else? We had Floki. Man, I got Floki on the bottom. Yeah, Floki's doing well too. I mean, look, I'm not a huge fan of meme coins that are ERC20 because, you know, when these things are at their highest price, you're going to be suffering crazy gas fees. But, you know, I mean, if you make a whole bunch, you have to pay some. It's a net win, right? But yeah, Floki, if you guys don't know about Floki, they're not just a meme coin. They actually have like some pretty revolutionary tech on their token vaults. Basically, like they're using an NFT to like be able to access locked liquidity, not unlock it, but move it to different chains. Because you guys know anything about building in the ecosystem, projects to show their integrity, to show that they're not going anywhere. They lock liquidity onto the chain, but sometimes chains need to move because of bugs or better tech or partnerships. And then, you know, what do you do with that locked liquidity? So this lets you transfer like to another chain. There's a white paper and everything, but I'm not gonna get into it. But it's pretty interesting. Some of these meme coins have like actual use cases behind it. That's why you follow me. I'll work in the space 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 6 days a week. I'm taking a day off now. But I hear things, I see things, I read things. So, you know, I try to share it here with you. At least what I can here with you. 91 people, what's good? 2-week difficulty adjustment. Yeah, we just got to the halving, guys. Congratulations. We made it. Again. Let me know in the chat, but it wasn't too long ago last halving occurred. I remember that in 2020. And then about 6 months later, towards the end of the year, crypto started going up. Bitcoin started running up. Man, I went to 20,000, kind of hovered there, went down a little bit. People are like, oh, we're going to go back down. And then it shot to like 64,000 real quick. It went up so fast, it made me be like, this is weird. I feel uncomfortable. And then it went down and I felt even more uncomfortable. But ain't that the way it go? So like, you know, guys, I get it, right? Some of you went to the bear market. It's cool. I've been here the whole time. I've been here for the last decade, you know? I know how it goes. Sometimes you get wrecked. You go to the bear market. It sucks. It feels bad. You know, people making fun of you. Your family like, haha, you bought that Bitcoin, now it's crap. It sucks. Don't let like your jadedness, don't let your bitterness, don't let your attempt to protect yourself let you get too defensive, right? You want to be defensive in the bear run, the bear markets, but then switch to offense on the bull markets, right? The bear markets, bull markets. I'm thinking my setup, but whatever. You know what I'm saying? Don't get stuck in the previous cycles like phase. Live in the present. Look around you, look at the evidence, and then like adjust accordingly. You know, so like right now, guys, we're sitting at that spot where I think a lot of people are like second guessing a little bit, getting a little cold feet. What if this happens? Because they don't want to look wrong. Maybe they look stupid in front of their friends. Maybe they made calls on Twitter and they felt dumb. Whatever, man. Like we've waited all this time. We're around all-time highs. Every single time we've reached all-time highs, we've gone past all-time highs. And I'm going to show you on the chart. Don't guess like, oh, Bitcoin might do this or that. No, look at what's actually happened before. And you know what? I'll show you what happened before. That's why you follow my channel. If you don't follow my channel, what are you doing, man? Click on the sub, click on the follow, thumbs up. There we go. We're all good. Check this out. 99 people was good. All right. So this is Bitcoin on Bitstamp over at least the recordable history for Bitcoin. Okay. So I like to zoom out and show you guys like, okay, the overall trend for Bitcoin's up and to the right. So if you're thinking that Bitcoin's going to go back to 120 right now, that's very unlikely. So don't listen to those people who say that. Okay. Look at the trend, invest with the trend. This thing goes through periods of undervaluation, like we've seen here, like we've seen here, like we've seen here, and overvaluation, like we've seen here and here and here, even though this was not as overvalued as I thought. I'll tell you why this one's a little different in my humble opinion. Disclaimer, my opinion. Doesn't have to be your opinion. But like I said, guys, okay, every single time we get to the previous all-time high from the last cycle, we run into the chop. I've displayed it in red, in a red rectangle you can see here. You hit here. This is an obvious, like very clean technical area of resistance that everyone in the whole entire world's looking at. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. We get a dip down of approximately 30%. Again, here from 2018 to approximately 2020 when we broke above, that was the last time I was talking about. This dipped down about 14%, went down about $16,000 from 20,000. It took us approximately, a month to go sideways, hover, and then we took off. This last one took approximately, in 2017, 42 days, 50 days, maybe a month and a half. How long will this one last? Not quite sure. Only time will tell. But from 2021 to now, guess what's happening? We're getting chop. We've been in this chop for approximately 40 days, 49 days. Okay, maybe it's getting long in the tooth. We'll see. Ignore this. I'm watching to see if this RSI climbs back in. If not, then I'll erase this. But what I'm suggesting to you is the reason we didn't get that euphoric pump, in my opinion, is because we're in some kind of two-phased move that's very similar to 2013. I'll show you right now. But the reason I'm saying that, like, potentially this time is different around, I know what they say about that saying, but the reason I'm saying that is because we did not get the euphoria phase that's happened here and here. The whole pump of this last 2020, 2021 cycle was different, right? It was very selective. We got meme coins, we got metaverse, we got some AI taking off, but that was about it. We had Luna going crazy. It's a lot of leverage. It was a lot of like Phil Farm Filth and Sam Bankman-Fried doing crazy stuff. Okay. But let me show you this. In 2013, this was the cycle I got into, right? We had this big pump up, euphoric pump up, came down, did somewhat of a bull-shaped pattern, even though it looks a little more angular than what I'm talking about right now. And then we went sideways and then took off again. So one impulse, cool off, bull shape, two impulse. One impulse, little complex, bull shape, two impulse. Now, with that said, the reason I think it's a bigger one is because, okay, look, this occurred over the last, this 2013 structure occurred over 196 days. I don't really know exactly where to guess the takeoff. This has occurred over 1,300 days, approximately. Now, why would that happen? Why would it take longer? The reason it takes longer is because of larger market cap. Over here, Bitcoin was a tiny itty-bitty thing. It was a joke. If you said it, people laughed at you like legit. Okay? Just want to show you how different the world has changed since now. Now, Bitcoin's this thing that everyone's like, oh, of course, Bitcoin's like, this and that. Okay? So people change, time change, but the one thing that also changes is market cap. Bigger market cap, harder to move. Think of it like mass, right? Think of it like an ocean. That's why they call, money liquidity. It has similar properties to liquid. So it's easier to move a bucket of water than an ocean of water, right? And even if you were to move an ocean of water, it would take longer to move the ocean versus a bucket. It makes more mass. It takes more force. And think of force in this instance as by pressure, right? Okay, so we've come all the way back up here. Even if you give some more back, and historically we've seen you've given 30% back or so. So that would take us around to 50,000, 52,000. So I'm not ruling a further drop off the table, but I don't care about that. Because typically speaking, after halvings, it's taken about 6 months to start to see the supply-demand dynamic kick in and shoot to the upside. And if this happens around in 6 months, that takes us out to October 2024. Based on this FIB channel I have laid out, that would take us to approximately the low 300,000s per BTC. Okay. Now, why does that matter? Because if Bitcoin goes up, everything goes up. I'm just playing off of dynamics here. So we know Bitcoin historically has gone up, that we have the longest price history on Bitcoin. We can analyze it the best because it has the longest price history. And typically speaking, it goes up after halvings. We can look at the stock to flow too. It just printed its red dot, obviously, because of halving. But then we move over to Bitcoin dominance. And you guys are probably sick of me talking about this damn chart. I know. I've been like coming on here twice a week talking about it for 4 years. I know. But it's going to happen. We had a rising wedge right here in 2020 to 2021. This was actually the CV crash, this spike. So, okay, I'm going to explain. Oh, my bad. I'm going to explain this dynamic to you. So this rising wedge right here. Bitcoin dominance actually goes up when the market's crashing. Why? Because Bitcoin's the perceived store of value, right? It's the digital gold. Gold is typically like a crisis hedge. People rush into gold because it's more stable. It has stability. Same thing with Bitcoin in the digital economy. People run into Bitcoin when things get hairy. That's why altcoins drop so hard, much harder than Bitcoin during bear markets, during black swan events. So you'll see that Bitcoin rose up between September 2020 to about the end of the year, 25%. Broke out of the structure, overcorrected out of the bottom, fell down, and that's where we had I'll call it the mini altcoin season in 2020. Well, you look at that. We have a similar rising wedge that's 3 times bigger over the course of 3 years. Interesting. So in charting, you have something called symmetry, right? So something's 3 times bigger, magnitude's bigger. The effect should be, rationally bigger. But I'm just, assuming the most conservative guesstimate, right? And, a lot of people say, these things, rising wedges, they don't always break to the downside. They don't. They break to the downside 60% of the time. But look how many times it's violated the bottom structure. It's tried to climb in multiple times. It's not even doing that. Even at the end of the structure, it got rejected. Now it's coming down. On the weekly, we're closer to overbought than oversold. So that suggests over the next coming months, that's another indicator that Bitcoin dominance could be dropping. And when these things drop, it goes down in an elevator, right? Look at 2017. Dropped very long. Dropped over the course of very long. My bad. The heck? Was that a year? Wow, that was actually a long altcoin season. But then it rose for about double that time. Over here, it dropped for about half a year. And then it rose. It was rising until recently, 1,000 days. So you know what they say, guys. Markets go up an escalator, come down an elevator. I think we're going to be seeing Bitcoin break above its all-time high definitively. Based on what I've seen on the Bitcoin chart and the Bitcoin dominance chart, I think that definitive break is coming rather soon. Okay? And because that's what's suggesting to me why the Bitcoin dominance chart looks like that. Because Bitcoin dominance chart doesn't drop to any meaningful degree until Bitcoin's doing well. So well that greed comes back. And we can look at the fear and greed index. That's another chart that I suggest you look at on a continuous basis. 110 people, what's up? Wow, we've went up 11% since the last time I did a stream last week. What, Thursday? We were at 60. Now we're back into greed at 71. It's interesting how fast this space moves. in terms of their sentiment towards this asset. That really doesn't change. Okay. We're scared. We're greedy. Oh my goodness. We're bearish. We're bullish. Ain't nothing changed. Just remember that. Don't get caught up in it. Ain't nothing changed. Bitcoin is still a Bitcoin. Blockchain is still a blockchain. Don't get wrapped up. 112 people, what's up? Daddy Yo, peeps. What's good, man? Hello, everyone. Mark, what's good? I see 1 million plus on that chart within 5 years. Well, so I anticipated going to the 0.382 this time, and let me show you. My bad, hold up. So I just want to show you, like, I'm trying to take into account the patterns that have been playing over time. So in 2013, it touched the 1. 2017 peak, it went between the 1 and the 0.786. This last time, the highest point in 2021, Bitcoin peaked up at the, what is that, 0.618. So it's not a clean reduction. It's not a linear nice reduction in how high the Bitcoin price achieves in the fib channel, but I'm guesstimating. We could work on guesstimates. Is the best we can do. The integral reduced by about 1.5, right? So that would take us around the 0.382, which would be around here, this line. So in some ways, the percentage is diminishing from cycle to cycle. I mean, that's to be expected with higher market caps. It's easy to move a tiny thing. It's hard to move a big thing. Okay. And I'm basically anticipating how high this Bitcoin price will go because it's been, more or less, based off last cycle, respecting that. But at least it gives us a methodology, right? So you take this line and it goes up diagonally, which suggests that as the longer it takes to play out, the higher the price of Bitcoin should theoretically be. So if it takes us out to the end of the year or so, and I'm saying October, that's how I get to that price of $323,000 a Bitcoin. Okay. Now I'm saying I'm not going to wait for this and try to pull the trigger. I've tried to do that before and got wrecked before. I'm saying once it gets to about 140,000, 150,000, whatever, really start scaling. Make sure you come out of here with profit, unless you want to do this again, which you probably don't. I mean, hey, maybe you'll like it, and maybe you got a whole sucker for punishment thing going on. I don't know. I've been punished enough. I'm getting tired of this, man. I can't be doing this, man. I'm getting gray hairs. Getting gray hairs, man. Dominance chart will never grow old. Don't use your favorite crypto's chart to try to figure out what's happening with the market because it's not the market. It's only a small portion of the market. Use the market charts that take all the money into account and use multiple charts to get more data, more info from different places, right? It's not that simple. It's not just knowing, oh, Bitcoin's doing this. But what's the altcoin market cap doing? And we haven't looked at that yet, the total 3. Because I'm looking at 4 charts and they all say they all say different things, but they all rhyme towards the end goal. That's called confluence, right? When you look at different things, and confluence is even greater when you use different analysts and they're saying similar things. People that don't know each other, people don't watch each other. You can use confluence to your advantage. This is the total 3. If you guys don't have a TradingView account, what are you doing? Get on TradingView. I use the free one. I can only use 3 indicators at a time, but you know what? I've tried a bunch of indicators. It works. You don't need that many. You don't need to get fancy. Your crap doesn't need to look like a science project. You have to just understand some simple geometry and watch the market and see how things move. I'm 100% self-taught. Not saying I'm the best, but I think I know my way around a chart. Okay? So look, this is total 3. Money all up in crypto, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum. So basically the broader altcoin market cap, right? People would say minus the blue chips, even though, Ethereum being a blue chip, I think is still to be determined, but you know what I'm saying. I want to know what's happening with the rest of the market, because in the rest of the market is where I see the most of the potential. Okay, at least for most people. If you're a hedge fund and you got a lot of money and you need a lot of liquidity, probably want to stick in those two. But for everyone else, hey, there's more upside in these smaller coins. I'm pretty far out on the risk curve. I'm playing for all the chips. So just know that. But then the total 3 is telling me, based off of this measured move, this I do measured move, guys. Trend line to height to area breakout. From the breakout, and we've already broken out approximately 48%. Ultimately speaking, this measured move, which is a technical thing, it's not like me making it up, measures over 1,000% gain for the total 3, minus Bitcoin and Ethereum. That'll take us to around $7 trillion in total 3 coins. Yeah, that's why I'm in altcoins. That is why I'm in altcoins. And you look at this, and then you look at the Bitcoin dominance, and it's all saying the same thing. These structures are suggesting that Bitcoin dominance wants to drop. Bitcoin dominance can't drop until Bitcoin USD breaks above all-time highs, which it's sitting right at the all-time highs. This is how, like, guys, I'm not making it up. I mean, this chart's saying it. It's up to you to believe it. Now, we might not just go straight there, guys. It's unrealistic to think. It's very noob to think. Don't think that way. Nothing goes up straight. But I'm sitting here telling you, there comes times in history. Most of the time, money making is hard. But there are some times, I'm telling you, that it's easy. And I think one of those times is coming. Now, it's hardest to know when it hasn't happened yet. But you have to know something. The market rewards risk. Every single capitalist market rewards risk. You want the highest ROI? Get ready to assume maximum risk. That's the only way it's fair. If you don't want the risk, that's fine. Don't require the high ROI. It's a give and a take. And for those people who are in crypto, I don't really think you're in crypto to be safe. If you are, I mean, dang, man, go get a high interest rate savings account. 3%, not even, 1.5%. There you go. That's what safe gets you. But guys, what is safe? What is safe these days with inflation over those rates? You have to get risky. The Fed, with bad money management of the money supply, has forced people to get farther on the risk curve. So what is considered risky these days? Nah, this is the new normal. This is the new capitalist market. You dig? What are you guys drinking? 122 people. What's good, man? I met a local here on the island today that brought up the crypto discussion. I had mentioned it to him years ago. He opened a Coinbase account, bought some BTC, ETH, and Sol, and he got a Ledger. Glad to hear. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so for guys who have Ledger, just know I saw a article. It's not getting discussed a lot, but you know the whole Ledger hack thing that happened, the Ledger Connect hack. Basically, someone signed a blind signing, interacting with a smart contract, and they got their funds drained. Well, basically, Ledger's talking about removing blind signing functionality on Ledgers, which is a problem because if you have, say you have a coin that's supported by Ledger but not supported by Ledger Live, their front end software. If they take away blind signing functionality, that means that your funds will get stuck there. So just letting you know. I might let some other people know, but be proactive about it. It would suck to get all this way and then get stuck in a ledger that can't interact with a smart contract when you need to. 125 people was good. Guelph Mafia in the house. Guelph homies, what's up? Give me a like, please. If you guys don't know, this is a very eclectic community. We have people from all kinds of chains because I got love for everyone. Money is green to me. Should be green to you. Guelph is one of the biggest meme coins on Hedera. They've been going wild lately. So, and they're always showing up. I love that. I love that. It's hard to move big thing prior to market maturity through a legal framework. Yeah, I know, Steak, that one of your biggest points is, like the whole legalities of everything. And obviously we're close to those legalities being cemented because we've had some of the biggest money managers come up in space. So, they lobby and they have information that's not privy to all of us. So I think one of the main catalysts that can occur is legal framework actually being laid out, because right now it's still up in the air. It's hard to do business in crypto in America. It's hard to know how to like really classify things and all this stuff in terms of like staking and yield and all this stuff if you're a corporation. And so like at some point, I think we're going to see regulations come through. I know you're a subject matter expert on that though. So probably better to speak to it than I am. But guys, go make sure to follow Stake. Really knowledgeable in terms of like MiCA regulations and all that stuff. He also shows up on Blind Dave's channel. Make sure to follow Blind Dave as well. Every Thursday, they have a Hash It Out video where they talk everything crypto, and a lot of good guys. Xavier as well, and Clint Westwood. Those are the homies. No drinks, just hash it out with a joint. Oh man, that's how you're so smart, huh? Cheers. I've been turning a new leaf lately, man. Turning a new leaf. But, do your thing. Yeah, guys, I think it's going to be interesting times in terms of crypto coming up. I've been through too many of these cycles before. This is my third cycle. Okay. I got in here in 2013 and I went through every single mistake you could think of. Every single mistake. I did not spare myself on any easy routes. I've lost funds. I got scammed. I got wrecked. Man, I'm damn near limping through this thing by now. But the good thing is I never like really took my eye off the market too long. I did in the beginning, probably my first time I got wrecked 2017. And that was a mistake. I don't care how much it hurts, pay attention. Because at the very worst case, you're still studying how people sound and talk and like the sentiment at certain phases of the market. I talk about the technicals all the time, but I also talk about like the real world indicators as well, right? Because I showed you that this space is very emotional. And if you're able to keep your emotions in check better than the next person, you have a huge edge in this market. You can use people as indicators in themselves because like I talk about it, charts are just the perception and of sentiment of price action. I mean, of assets, right? So like what I'm trying to say is someone hits that buy and sell button, but you have to think about how you feel about the asset before you decide to sell or buy. If you can hear how people are feeling and thinking based off of being aware, chatter in the world, you'll hear people talking about Bitcoin at the tops that have no business talking about Bitcoin. You know them. What are you talking about Bitcoin for? You're getting somewhere around the top. If you hear your friends who work in the industry or like have been hodling forever and they're selling their bags and like cussing out Bitcoin, you're somewhere on the bottom. You can use these things as long as you learn how to be somewhat emotionally detached from your bags. It's the only way. It's the only way to learn a level of detachment so you can use people's in the world as an indicator. So pay attention. I want you to pay attention when this thing goes to the sky. How are people talking? Who's hitting you up? Relatives hitting you up? Relatives are making fun of you now want to buy Bitcoin? Indicator. Celebrities are doing music videos with ledgers and gold encrusted and like diamonds around it. Indicator. Steph Curry's doing commercials. Indicator. Staples Center turns their name into crypto.com arena. Indicator. You know what I mean? And vice versa. But you'll never know if you take your eye off the ball and just run with the emotion. I want you to be aware. Because, unless you want to just quit after the cycle, that's fine. Or you could learn to better and do it again. 137 people. What's up? Today, the government of the Philippines got Apple and Google to ban Binance from their stores. That's interesting, man. Because Binance, technically, BNB, looks like it's going to be okay. If I do say so myself. It's up 2% of the day. I mean, on the month, it might give a little back. You know, because this looks like a rising wedge right there. I love rising wedges if you can't tell. But hey, BNB is doing okay, man. And you know what's funny? Isn't BNB, I mean, they're not really located at anywhere, but don't they have ties to China? Don't they? That's another thing I haven't read. Oh, did I read you guys that? About the ETFs and Bitcoin and Ethereum for China? Let me know. I don't want to do it over again, but if you haven't read that, that's like very important. See, this is the thing. You see all this FUD about people coming out against Binance and this and that, but the chart ain't saying that. What's up with that? You know what I mean? I mean, something's going on. But let me know if I read that. I won't read it right away, but let me know. If I haven't, I definitely will. But yeah. What's up? Glad to see you today. Glad to see you too. Thanks for stopping by. If you guys give me a like, that'd be great. Please. Give me a sub on X. I mean, on YouTube, that'd be great. Give me a follow on X. That'd be great too. Yep. But yeah, guys, I mean, like, what I'm trying to say to you is this. I think in 6 months, Bitcoin's going to be way higher. I got a feeling. Everyone's saying 2025, really? This is an election year. I think something's going to happen. It's going to cause some kind of stimulus. I really do. I mean, like, look, guys, inflation's coming back. Crypto's being seen as an inflation. The IMF, that's another one too. If you guys don't know about that. Shaz pulled up, my bad. 138 people. IMF Bitcoin. Oh yeah, and IMF is demanding El Salvador to change its pro-Bitcoin laws. I gotta work on my search terms. IMF Bitcoin good. Let me see. Huh. It's not coming up, but I know the IMF stated from Twitter, I saw on Twitter, IMF is calling Bitcoin a potential way to weather inflationary pressures, right? Which is a win for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is starting to be actually seen for what it was meant to be. Bitcoin is made in response to the great financial crisis. If you guys don't remember, right? Government printed a lot of money. I remember sitting in a Starbucks reading an old newspaper. That's where I started, reading finance section on the newspaper about quantitative easing, printing of money. I remember my supply demand curve, and oh wait, they're making more money. That means money's going to be worth less and less and less. Why are they doing that? I've come a long way. Bitcoin was made as an ultimate sponge for the ultimate inflation. The reason Bitcoin can get to 1 million, 10 million, whatever million you want is because there's unlimited money. There is no limit to the money. So when you say Bitcoin's going to go to $1 million, $1 trillion, whatever, it doesn't matter how big it goes. It's not that Bitcoin's getting more valuable. It's that the whole fiat currency system is imploding. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, you know? So it's going to be interesting to see, but it's not Bitcoin doing anything. Bitcoin's doing exactly what it is. One Bitcoin will be one Bitcoin. It's the whole world around you burning. That's what's happening. 138 people, what's up? Yeah, Bitcoin, Hong Kong. ETF, Hong Kong. See, guys, I find all this stuff out with stupid search terms, so. They reveals fees. Okay. This is good enough. 4 days ago. It was pretty recent, I guess. Hong Kong's Bitcoin and Ether ETF approval to challenge China's crypto restrictions. Despite some of the optimism that China's crypto regulations will not extend to ETFs, Bloomberg's senior ETF analyst Eric Bolschuens, stated that is highly unlikely to happen. The recent approvals of spot Bitcoin ETF and Ethereum ETFs in Hong Kong are poised to challenge the Chinese restrictions on trading digital assets in the country, according to the DL News report on Friday, citing an interview with Alessio, co-founder and chief executive of Hex Trust, a crypto custodian company. The recent introduction of the crypto ETFs in Hong Kong market could indirectly expose Chinese investors to digital asset space. So I'm thinking, like, Hong Kong allowed it, but Hong Kong's different than mainland China. So the thought process was that a lot of mainland China investors were going to get this ETF through Hong Kong. And they probably will or whatever. But here's the thing. I'm not going to read this whole thing, but that's pretty much what's happening. So, like, we're learning more as news come out, because the first time I read this article, it was a rumor. But now it looks like it's actually going through in Hong Kong. I mean, look, I live in Southern California. Chinese citizens find ways to get their money out of China into real estate out here all the time. So, I mean, Hong Kong's way closer. But, ETF is not the real answer to their problems. They want to get somewhat of capital flight so they can protect some of their wealth, right? So I think spot crypto is more appropriate for them. But give it time, man. I remember the 2017 bear market happened because Bitcoin and China and India came out and said, Bitcoin's illegal here, whatever. Tanked. And then China goes, okay, now it's not illegal. Now it's legal. Now it's not illegal. Guys, they're going to change. They're going to reverse their stance, because that's all they do is reverse their stance. China is not against crypto, okay? The BRICS nations are not against crypto. Crypto is an alternative payment system separate to SWIFT. And I saw a recent article about, wasn't there a bill that passed regarding the recent Ukraine budget we're going to give them, another couple hundreds of billions of dollars, whatever. That's currently getting passed, that states that we can sanction Russian assets that are American banks and give it to Ukraine. We're just killing ourselves on a global stage. Of course, other countries are going to be open to crypto. Of course they are. It's almost as if we're pushing them there, because we're using the worldly and globally adopted payment system as a tool, as a weapon. It's supposed to be unbiased. Money is supposed to be unbiased. If you're using biased money, why would you want to use the money? Yeah, I wouldn't either. And no, none of them will either. So China's not against it. We know they're not against it because Russia is not against it. And Iran is not against it. They all work together in the BRICS bloc. So you call it what it is. 141 people, what's goody? IMF are continuously in El Salvador's face. They don't want El Salvador to initiate Bitcoin bonds with foreign governments. And now BlackRock treasuries on H-bar. Interesting times, isn't it? I always thought, Bitcoin is the answer to the government debt crisis. Because the problem with government bonds is that basically you're going to get paid back in a fixed amount over a long period, like 30-year bond, 10-year bond, 2-year bond. But it's like trash because the rate of inflation is greater than your return. It makes no sense, right? That's why people are dumping, government debt. And that's why the debt is raising. Rates and bond prices have an inverse relationship, So basically, if people dump the bond, the price of the bond goes down, but the interest rate goes up to entice people to buy, so it levels out, right? There's nothing interesting for people to hold the bonds, right? Government is not going to pay their debts back. Why would you want to hold government debts? Even if you get your debt paid back, the interest, the inflation's running rampant, so your yield's going to get eaten away. What is the allure to hold debt? Now you insert Bitcoin as an underpinning mechanism, that at least that inflation risk goes away. You know, I think El Salvador is onto something, and they don't want them to be successful because of everyone else will do it too. That's the answer. It's an answer. And you don't have to do just with Bitcoin. You can do it with other things. I think ultimately speaking, the new world reserve currency is not just going to be Bitcoin, but Bitcoin is going to be in a basket of currencies, which would be ultimately a great thing for Bitcoin. You know, I think moving forward, we don't need a one world reserve currency anymore. That's trash. We need choice. We need a mixture of currencies that are distributed around the world. And in case something gets like ran rampant for some reason, we have other things to balance it out or even transition over to. Kick that thing out, move another thing in. I think that's going to be the future. I think that's the future. But if Bitcoin's even involved with that, you know how much money's going to get pushed in there? It's stupid. It would be stupid. And I think Bitcoin's getting closer and closer to that, guys. But it's been an hour. It's been fun. My name's Dub Digital. I come up on the internet twice a week, Tuesdays, Thursdays, 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time-ish. Make sure to give me a sub. Make sure to follow, like the video. It's always cool. But until next time, guys, I'll talk to you later. Peace.